What's going on, y'all? Chuck Nutface here, and today I have an interesting for me at least, comparison of a couple of small fixed blades. Now, so far on YouTube, I've only done any sort of videos on folders and things like that. And I, truth be told, I'm not the world's biggest fixed blade knife person. Folding knives just fit my life better with my job and just how I dress and everything else. So generally speaking, folding knives are my thing. But I do like fixed blades, and I especially like small fixed blades that are, EDC friendly, so to speak. So something that's small, blade under 3 inches, you can be pocket carried, things like that. And so I just want to do a little bit of a side-by-side comparison, and then kind of pose a question towards the end of the video. So up top we have the SPK, or Alex Steingraber Performance Knives, I believe, Shark. So this is made out of CPM crewware. Heat treated to, I'm not 100% sure on the heat treat on this, but he does everything pretty much in-house at his shop in Pennsylvania. And he releases these periodically. I don't think he's really doing them too much anymore. He does have one other fixed blade model as well, the Sasquatch, which is a different blade profile, might be a different blade thickness, different handle profile. But yeah, he's got a couple of different fixed blade models, but primarily the focus of his time and energy has been on his folder that he's developed. So he does all of his CNC machining and grinding and everything else in-house for the folder that he has, and he puts them out there on Instagram with the lottery, and he's been doing really well with that. So he's really focused. I like him a lot. He's really focused on geometry, heat treatment, and things of that nature when it comes to knives being really truly cutting implements. And so the other knife here is a gentleman who is of really the same school of thought, and that is Gary Creely. Now this one is, brand new. It just came to me today. This is the Mako. This is also in crewware. This came in from DLT Trading. And I've always kind of admired Gary Creely's knives, particularly the Mako, from a distance. The first time I was exposed to it was he did a Mako in Rex 121 for Mike Christie. Who is a YouTuber. He's not really very active on his channel, but he's also, of course, on Instagram. And so he did a Rex 121 for Mike that he reviewed and sharpened and everything else. And if you're not familiar with Rex 121, it's just, I'm not going to go through the specs of it or anything like that, but it's an ultra high performance tool steel. So really high vanadium content, tungsten carbon content, things like that. So it's pretty much at the tip top of the edge retention scale as far as knife steels go. So this, like I said, though, is also crewware. And Gary's another maker out of Pennsylvania. So two Pennsylvania knife makers, two kind of different approaches. But both of, in my opinion at least, and from what I know about them, they have the same type of philosophies: performance through heat treat, through geometry, things of that nature. So really maximizing the steel to give the customer and the end user the best knife. And so they're really a couple of makers, possibly different ages and generations, but in the same school of thought, at least from what I know about them. So in any case, I've had this one for a while. This case is not original with the knife. This actually came from Cedar Grove Leather, and I got this case from them several months ago. And so I thought it would really complement the maroon micarta, this kind of deep micarta, but it does not come with that. But additionally, it does fit the Mako, so that is interesting as well. But this one comes with a belt sheath like that, which you could put different attachments if you wanted to put an Ulta clip or anything like that, or some sort of pocket, like a belt clip, like a fold over that you would use for a holster or something like that. But right now it's just got to pull the dot, just style holster, and Kydex just like that, which is pretty good. But I did want something that was not just for belt carry, so I have the option of doing belt carry with this, but I also have the option of pocket carry, which is how I'm typically going to carry it. Because if I can carry a knife like this in my pocket, and it can just be a substitute for a folding knife, it's just something different. I have a different option for it. Same goes with the Creely. This one does have an Ulta clip. This really is very stiff leather right now. It hasn't been broken in at all. But that can also be pocket carried, should I want to do that, or I could also, I could clip it onto a belt. I mean, really do anything. I mean, it's not quite as versatile as, say, something like this, where it can be on the belt, or you can put different clip options on it. It's really just kind of one clip option because that Ulta clip right there. But this is a nice, I mean, the leather, I mean, it's a fold over taco style. The leather isn't really, tan too much. It's got more of a natural, it is finished of course, but it's got more of a natural color to it. It's not dyed or anything like that, at least from what I can tell, but it is nicely done. And it holds the knife securely, so that's also a plus. Really the ergos, well, let's look at the blade real quick first. I really love this tall, high, flat ground blade on the Shark. I really like that a lot. It's one of the things that drew me to this model, liking small fixed blade knives. I really like this blade profile. It's got a nice little sharpening choil on there as well. I have sharpened this once, maybe twice. I'm not sure. I mean, I'll have this doing yard work and things like that. I mean, this is a good little knife if you've got some dirty little jobs to do around the yard, something like that. This one, obviously, it has not been carried yet. The blade profile is a high flat grind, but not quite full flat grind. It does lack a sharpening choil, and it actually kind of looks like it gets a little funny right there at the ricasso. And so maybe I'd even add a choil onto this. I'm not sure. But I mean, other than that, I mean, really it's just, I like the blade profile on this. It really reminds me a lot of the old Benchmade, I want to say Activator. It was a little Snowdy design, Mike Snowdy designed fixed blade knife, and it reminds me a lot of that. So the blade grind and the blade itself profile isn't as tall as, of course, as the Shark is, but I mean, we're really looking at pretty much almost identical dimensions from length, from a length standpoint and everything else. So the blade itself, when we're looking at the blade, it's got a, what about a 1, 2, 3 inch blade, but really, so just over 3 inches. Really, when we're talking cutting edge, we'd have to say 1, 2, yeah, just over 2.5 inches of cutting edge, and really just about the same. So maybe 1, 2, yeah, about 2.5 inches of cutting edge on both of these. Maybe just a little bit more with the Shark than the Creely, but it's really very close. I don't know exactly the weight. Gosh, honestly, I think the Shark, it doesn't look it. I think the Shark's just a little bit heavier, but I don't have a scale to really test that. Where I really love the grind on this, I love the blade profile on this, but where I think this one really shines is the handle ergonomics. I love that hump right there. That's really good. It feels really nice in the hand. It really does. I've always liked the look of that, and I think in use this is going to be really nice in hand, and whether breaking down boxes or doing projects, trimming small branches, pruning leaves, whatever you want to do, cutting grass, like anything like that, cutting sod rather, I think that's going to be really nice in hand. This, one of the things that I didn't really like about it were the ergos and that skinny handle. I mean, it feels okay, but it's not very substantial to grip on. I mean, you can get, of course, a full finger grip on it, but it doesn't have that. It's not very hand filling, whereas the Mako has just got that great feel in the hand. It really does. It impresses me a lot. They both have their logos right there on the blade, as you can see on the Shark. It's got SBK, and then on the Creely, he's got his Creely logo right there. And on this side, it does have the CPM crew wear right there by the flat of the blade. And this, it's more bannered up there at the tip. Edge to the Shark on that. I don't really like the branding up there, or the bannering of the steel type up there, but all things being equal, it's not that big a deal. With the Mako, I am going to have the option of putting a lanyard on this. I'm not a big lanyard person, but I think a lanyard on a fixed blade in some folders I think works pretty well. I may put a small lanyard on this. We'll see, with some paracord or leather wrap or something like that, or a leather, like a rawhide. You don't have that option with this one, but really not that big of a deal. So that being said, kind of went over these knives and everything else. This one is proven for me. I've used it. I love it. This one I haven't used that much, but going by Gary Creely's reputation, I'm sure this knife is going to perform just fine. So I really have a decision to make here. I do not carry a lot of fixed blade knives. I really have no need for both of these. So one of these is probably going to end up getting sold or traded. So I kind of have to decide which one I'm going to end up moving along. I'll probably end up keeping this pocket sheath, even though this clip slip. Even though it was designed for this one and it looks good with the micarta and everything else, I don't think it's going to be a problem with the shark at all. I think it'll form. Leather has that tendency to just kind of form. I think it's going to be fine in there. This has got that full welt going all the way around. I don't think it's going to be an issue. One of the reasons I asked for this to be made all around so is that it could be left or right-handed carry, where it would be deployed normally. So if I put it in my left hand pocket, it would go, or I could do it in my right hand pocket. You know, whereas a lot of pocket and clip slips, it's just gonna be done on one side, single welt going around. It's gonna be a fold over here. So I probably will end up keeping this. So I have to decide if I'm going to hang on to the Stein Grabber Shark or if I'm gonna hang on to the Creely Mako. Which one would you choose? Let me know in the comments. Now, certainly, Alex Stein Grabber is much more active on social media, particularly Instagram. He's always putting things in his stories. He does lottos for his knives, his folding knife, the new folding model that he has. He does that all on Instagram, possibly Facebook too. I'm not on Facebook, so I don't really know. So, I mean, he may have the edge in the popularity among the knife community, but Creely's been doing it for a while. This is a knife model that I've really admired. I'm going to definitely be giving it some use, and you know, I may not have a whole lot of tasks that I end up doing with it over the next week or two, but I'm going to make my decision during that period of time on which one's staying and which one's going. So let me know what you think in the comments. Would you go for the Shark or would you go for the Mako? Oh, they're both shark names too. That's cool. And it's Shark Week. So today is January. I keep doing that. Today is July 5th, 2022. Shark Week is either right now or next week or something like that. This is the Shark. This is the Mako. They're both in Pennsylvania. They both do everything in-house. They're both all about edge geometry and heat treat and things like that, and giving that performance to the end user, the customer. And if I had to venture a guess, I'd say those blade stocks were pretty darn similar. Pretty darn similar. Micarta, G10, red liners. So yeah, let me know in the comments what you think. Which one would you keep? Which one would you get rid of? Let me know in the comments, and I'll probably chime in a few weeks with my choice on what I've decided to hang on to and what I've decided to move on down the road. Well, everybody, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. I appreciate you checking it out. I appreciate your patience and sticking around with me. It has been about a month since I've done a video. It's just life gets kind of busy and hectic, and things like YouTube get pushed to the wayside and all that. But it feels good to kind of crank out another video here. I'm going to try to get a little bit more regular about it. But go ahead and if you haven't already, click that button right there on the side and go ahead and subscribe. You can turn on you get alerted when I've uploaded a new video. Check out some of the old videos I have on my channel. You know, let me know what you think about those. Leave a like, leave a comment. Be sure to like and comment on this one right here. Let me know what you think about keeping one or the other of these knives. And yeah, appreciate it. Give me a follow on Instagram at Chuck_Nunface. And that is it, y'all. Thanks a lot.